I really like podcasts, but I'm fickle about the ones that I choose to dedicate my time to.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
And I've noticed the ones I dedicate my time to they can be like talking stuff like this. Hey, we're going back and forth and talking about X, Y, and Z. But the ones that really grab me are the ones with some sort of an underlying narrative around them. Where, like I just started this one called The Chilling Podcast.
Chilling?
The Chilling.
Okay.
It's 13 episodes, and you know me, I like ghosts.
Yeah.
It is a true story told from the girl who lived in this very haunted house's perspective.
Okay.
In Kent, Ohio. And then she went out during COVID, and she found other people that lived in the house and got them on audio to tell their version of their haunting of this house. And then she connected with demonologists and priests.
Is it a real thing or is it fictional?
It's real.
Really?
Well, she says all of it is 100% true.
Okay.
And the way that she does it, like, she talks about being in an abusive relationship, and then she left that to move into this house to get away. And so it, like, everything feels very genuine.
Okay, see, I don't mind if it's real or fictional. But how you deliver it, I think, is so crucial.
I agree.
Like, if it's fictional, that's great, but let me believe.
Right. And if you're, like, the stuff that I don't like anymore is, like, people that are going for, like, let me talk about Ant-Man Quantumania, and let me tell you, like, I'm like, no, I don't fucking care. But if you have a story behind it, like, I want to talk about Ant-Man because this is why I'm attached to Ant-Man. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
I actually super agree with that because I don't know, like whenever I do a vlog for my my work site, I always try to put like a story behind it because you know this is why I'm doing this, and I get so much flack for that. They're like, we don't care about that, just get to the information. So it's a total hit or miss on who's
and I feel like
getting that.
I feel like younger people are the ones that they don't give a shit about the connection, the story. They don't care. They want to know because they've been raised in this instant gratification, overhyped movies and like the headlines and everything is this big ordeal. That's what I'm over. I can't do that shit.
I can't do. Yeah, I mean, you and I have talked about this
many
ad
times.
nauseum, but it's like, like the fucking hype for anything anymore. I've lost care for.
Oh yeah.
Unless it's some camera shit, like work related. But even then, I'm like.
Even then, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
I got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Like I stayed away from all the hype with Quantumania for Ant-Man, right?
We just watched that too. So.
Okay, cool. I'm interested because I went. Okay, it's fun. It's childish. Why the fuck did they put MODOK in this?
Oh man, that just came out of nowhere. It didn't make sense.
Terrible.
Oh,
He did nothing.
Nothing.
It was
nothing. It made no sense.
We can talk about this on the podcast if we want.
Let's fucking do it.
I'm down.
I think we're already recording, so.
Are we rolling?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. I love it.
I love
it. Is there anything mic-wise I need to be aware of?
Basically, you just need to be aware that as long as you're talking in that direction of the mic.
Okay. So a little up.
You don't have to talk up, just talk at. Because technically the mic should be aiming right here.
Okay, perfect. Then we should be good then.
Just a heads up, we do have a flat bass here, we have shitty flat bass here, and flat bass up there. So the audio's not going to be great. That's why I bought good mics for next time.
That's all good, man. I'm just happy to be hanging out.
Concurred.
And doing it in person.
Yes, I agree.
I love the connectivity of, hey, we can do it over Zoom, or it's not the same.
It's not. When you and I did our show, the two guys stuck in a video store, still, to this day, hands down, my favorite thing I've ever got to work on because I thought it was so clever and funny, and we had so much like fucking fun with it, but it was, I don't know.
It was work.
It was very disjointed.
Yeah.
And it was work. It felt more like I didn't like the editing. I really didn't like the editing.
And then it's like,
crushed it for me.
We got to rush and watch this movie when we have time so we can talk about it. And the
first episode actually got a lot of freaking views. And
and then it just tanked. But I think we could still do something cool with this. Like, I would love, because we're going to talk about movies, right?
I would assume so.
Yeah,
that's typically
kind of
our
thing.
Yeah.
I would love if we like talked about video store stuff too. Like we're both really into video stuff. We're into like.
Well, and we had that idea for the game too, which I basically told you to stop talking about it because I thought it would be interesting to talk.
I want to make that. Well, and so I like the idea of the video game that and I don't remember what it was called. But it's the video store stalker game that I found on Steam.
Like Please Rewind or something like that.
Something like that. But the premise, from what I saw, was like it started out as a video store simulator. So which, it sounds so stupid because I remember at the time working at Hollywood Video, I'm like. At first, I loved it, like in college. And then I graduated college, and I moved away, and I moved home to Michigan, and I transferred stores.
Yeah.
And then it felt like a job.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I can't fuck around anymore. I got to get out of my parents' house.
You got to make the money.
I remember one time my boss gave me a quarter raise, and she's like, I got you a quarter raise. Isn't that amazing? And I went, no, it's bullshit.
Yeah, dude. I had the same thing. Okay, so for those uninitiated, but I don't give a fuck. I'm not talking to the audience. I'm fucking done talking that bullshit. This is just you and me. That's
just us having a conversation.
So I worked at Tower Records.
That's right.
And we rented stuff there. This was VHS era.
Yes. Yes.
And then in college, I worked at Hollywood Video. But basically, like I worked there because I needed a little money.
Yeah.
But it was like literally I was just working on my thesis. Okay. And waiting for Andy to be done with school, so then we could move. Like it was just like I'm not taking this job seriously.
Yeah.
But I will put in my all. So I worked there for like a year and a half.
Okay.
So yeah, like we both worked at Hollywood Video, which I would love to talk about. That
we will.
Dog shit thing.
Oh yeah.
But we both come from video stores. We both come from video obsessed hobbies.
Yes. Specifically, very strange and obscure video watching. Yeah. It was always trying to dig to find the weirdest next thing. Yes. And so you found this video game a video store simulator. Yes. Which I will admit, when I first put it on, the graphics looked terrible, but I was like, I want to do a video store simulator. And then a guy came in and started killing people, and I lost all interest. Agreed. I liked the N64 graphics because it was like, okay, I was still kind of renting. It harks back to that time period. Exactly. Right. It's nostalgic. Yeah. And then it was like they showed you putting the tapes away. Mm-hmm. And it was like, okay, that was always my favorite when I got to restock. And grinding? Yeah, me too. Yeah, find something out of order and let me fix this. It was obsessive. It was. Oh. And walking, my favorite part of the video store was walking around and getting stopped by someone and say, can you help me? Oh my God. It was like, I can't. And there wasn't even a pause. It was like, yes, what do you need? Yep. And the questions, you never say I want to find Cocktail. I want to find Lord of the Rings. It was always I'm looking, the questions were esoteric. I'm looking for a movie for kids that's Lovecraftian. And you're like, hang on now. This is a challenge. I liked the challenges. Those were my favorite. That was the best. And then, now, when you talk to people, we've known each other for a very long time. And my brain, I break things into subgenres. I have very specific subgenres of movies that I like. Right. So that was always kind of my leading questions with people. What type of movie? Same. Give me a broad genre. And if they said horror, I'd be like, okay. Now let's go down that rabbit hole because that's a big tree. Exactly. Are you looking for zombies? Are you looking for slashers? Are you looking for creature features? Are you looking for psychos? What are you looking for? And then they're kind of like, maybe a vampire? Okay, creatures. I like that. Now, tell me this. Are you cool with black and white? No. Okay, very good. And so you go through this tree and you end up on and I would never give them good stuff. I would never give them Bram Stoker's Dracula. Oh, no. I would give them Ginger Snaps. Yes. Oh my God. That's where as soon as you said vampire, I was like, vampire, creature. Let's go down the rabbit hole of something good. Yes. But not well known. Yes. I always recommend it. Neil Marshall films, So Neil Marshall, he did The Descent. Oh my God! Way better than I was expecting it to be. That movie I saw that in theaters. Insane. Did you really? I loved it. Oh. He did one of my favorite werewolf movies second to Ginger Snaps and The Howling. the first Howling movie.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
I'm going down a rabbit. We had a video game we were talking about?
We were talking about other stuff. I think we were talking about rabbits and society and,
If you drink enough Kool-Aid.
I have not seen The Howling since I was a child. Like pre-high school.
Yeah.
And I finally got them all. I'm going to do a marathon. Yeah, I remember some of them being not so good. But anyway, please come back. Not The Howling, not Ginger Snaps. What is your favorite werewolf film?
Dog Soldiers.
Oh my God, it's so good!
It's so good.
I caught that at like midnight one night on HBO.
Right? And it's not good because of the story is fine.
Right. It is HBO midnight movie.
Yes, it is a vessel. The werewolf was fucking dope.
Yeah, and scary.
It was scary as all get out because it was a dog, but with humanoid arms and legs.
Right.
And it was massive. Mm-hmm. And I love what Rob Bottin did with the Howling. I love what Rick Baker did with American Werewolf.
Which still one of my favorite transformations, but not as God. We could do a whole episode. On like werewolf, like what makes a good werewolf. I've always wanted to do that. Like go down like the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But I gotta just throw it out there right now in case we never do, because I don't give a shit if we do or not. I just want to talk with you.
Yeah.
Best werewolf transformation ever. Go.
Ooh, dude, that's a hard one.
It is.
I want to lean back on Dog Soldiers, but you never really saw a transformation. It was like they crouched down, like classic Hollywood style. They
then you get the shadow, and
then it comes up.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, I really enjoyed... I've got two, and I'll leave you with two because I can't decide between the two. I do really like what Rob Bottin did in The Howling. Okay. I think that the skin bubbling, even though it's a total... It was stolen completely from Rick Baker because he was the guy, he was his apprentice, and he stole it and made The Howling, and there's been a huge feud.
I didn't know that. Holy shit.
Oh, okay. Really quick.
Wow, really?
The diversion to the diversion to the diversion.
Yeah, and then turtles.
And turtles. Ninjas, regular. Rick Baker had an apprentice on American Werewolf.
Okay.
And his name was Rob Bottin.
Okay.
And they, together, Rick Baker came up with the idea of, hey, if we make this latex creature and we put air canisters in it, the skin's going to look like it's like billowing out, not bubbling, but billowing out. And you can make it look like the arms are elongating and the fingers are elongating. And Rob Bottin, he took that and he went, fuck you, Rick Baker, I can do it better. So he got The Howling, and he took the same principles. And if you remember one of the transformations in The Howling, and I know it's been a while since you've seen it.
But I mean, I've seen snippets all my life.
They're like in a doctor's office or something, and the guy falls against the wall, and his face starts bubbling like little pimples and stuff like that. It's the same thing on a smaller scale, just a little bit more viral, I guess. And
it's an interesting way of putting it, viral.
He made it look like an infection taking over you.
Which is a really freaking good take on what werewolfism is, lycanthropy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've always loved that one. I've also really loved the transformation from Silver Bullet.
Really?
Yes. With Corey Haim, Gary Busey.
Yeah. That's Stephen King, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cycle of the Werewolf. I don't know what it was about that one.
Interesting.
But that movie strikes a chord with me. And whenever I catch it somewhere on a streaming site, I'll watch it. Because it's just... I'm not a Corey Haim fan, really.
Yeah, he's hit or miss for me.
More miss than him. But he's got Silver Bullet's pretty good. Lost Boys is pretty good. It's hard to watch Lost Boys now, though.
It very much is.
It is. I usually get to the shirtless saxophone guy, and then I'm like, yep, there we go.
Yeah, it was a bit off-putting when I was a kid, too.
Yeah.
So what was that British show about the werewolf, vampire, and ghost all living together? I think it's called Being Human.
Being Human, yes.
Okay, hands down, Being Human, best werewolf transformation.
Okay, the British, not the American.
The British. Jesus Christ, the British. Yes, the American one can go to hell.
I agree.
The British one, it's where the character describes in brutal pain what it's like to have every bone in your body snap and then reform.
Yes.
And I remember sitting there gawking at the TV going, I never thought about that.
I love it when they humanize something visceral like that because you forget when the monster, everybody's so focused on the monster, you forget that there's a human behind it. And those feelings are there. Those sensations are there. I love that. That's a good call out.
That was a good one.
That's a really good call out.
The humanization, I think, is super important in any kind of villain, whether it's a monster or a true villain. And I think monsters are highly misunderstood. I mean, you hark back to Frankenstein, which is, the quintessential misunderstood monster.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Then you, equate that to, Jaysin Voorhees, where it's like they tried to introduce those, human elements. Later on, they're like, "Oh, Jaysin, remember your mom?" It's like, no, dude, no, you blew this. This is done. This is done. You can't do that again. It's over.
Right.
So we were talking about a video game.
One thing I have to say.
Let's talk about this other thing real quick.
Because you mentioned Frankenstein, and we're drinking Diet Dr. Pepper. I have to say, we're not drinking Diet Dr. Pepper. We're drinking Diet Dr. Pepper's Monster. Diet Dr. Pepper created Diet Dr. Pepper's Monster.
Did you ever see that photo online where someone wrote in the end of Frankenstein in pen? They found it in a store, and it just says, and as Frankenstein, as the monster sailed away out of sight, he called back and said, "You can call me Frankenstein, it's okay." I fucking lose my shit every time I see it online. So now that's canon.
It's headcanon, if anything.
And truth be told, yes, I am that elitist asshole who says, actually, it's Frankenstein's monster. But I mean, I think throughout time, words evolve, names evolve, language evolves.
Right.
We can just call things right now, we're technically doing a podcast, but if there were cameras, my actually side would kick in and go, actually, now it's a talk show. It's not a podcast. But, fuck that. Language changes. So it's fucking Frankenstein.
And I think part of it, too, if you're a movie fan, and I think more people are like this than we want to admit, but we all, if you are a cinemaphile, if you are into movies, and I was way more into, quote-unquote, film when I was younger than I like.
I am now? Yeah. We are now? Shit.
I like movies now. I have problems. Same. I like movies. Yeah. When I didn't have problems, I liked films.
Very true.
Because I didn't know stress and pain, and it was all imagined.
Right.
Hormones and shit.
I'm not interested in Criterion anymore, because Criterion is in my life. And I am dealing with that shit.
Yeah, and and you have fond memories of that.
Of course.
I went back and watched M. I watched. I still love Hauzu.
God,
and I'll throw that on.
I'm okay. I'm not knocking Criterion.
Yeah,
let me put that out there.
But there's somewhere
Seven
I'm
Samurai is my favorite film.
Yeah, and it's there's somewhere I go, that looks amazing. Probably never will watch it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But it's just something that I think we all acquire after this time is if you're a fan of cinema and you want to meet another friend who is into cinema, you acquire a bullshit meter. And we've talked about the bullshit meter.
Super true.
Because you want to know, are you on my level? How deep down the rabbit hole can I go?
Yes.
And if I can take you along the ride, if I'm Alice and you're the White Rabbit and we're falling together, how soon do we hit the ground? Do I hit after or before you? And if we hit at the same time...
Your analogy is just going wildly out of control, and I love it.
I mean, what do you expect?
And then there's clocks. Are you looking at the clock, or are you looking at the jelly bean? And there's a jelly bean, but it's a watermelon flavor. I don't know why it's watermelon flavor, but I'm just sitting there going why is the turtle under my butthole? And I'm just there I am. Is it your butthole?
That's actually a Stephen King reference. And if you don't get that,
no. That's why we're friends.
Yep.
I think the sussing out the bullshit meter, I think, is something that any fandom kind of earns the right to do. But I think any kind of nerd, eccentric movies, games, comics, you try and push the other person. I'm sure car people and sports people do this too. But I never talk to those people, so I'll never know. Having that kind of bullshit meter, I think, is really good. But it's also, the bullshit meter would be can we have this conversation?
Right.
But it's also can we be friends?
Yes, it's that olive branch.
It's an olive branch. And maybe that person doesn't know. And then you get to go, the greatest thing of all, recommend it to them.
Oh, dude, that's another... So 3 games I love playing with movies and people.
Yeah.
One is 6 Degrees from Kevin Bacon with anything.
Can you? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, dude, you are...
We did that.
You are encyclopedic at this shit. It is intimidating.
We used to play it at the video store.
Oh, yeah,
that's how we would kill slow nights.
Yeah.
We'd be like, okay, connect, and I'm not going to know anything. Connect William Shatner to, and then you just name something.
Correct.
And you'd be like,
find it.
And I mean, I would go into like DPs. I would go into executive producers.
Right.
You find a way, and you couldn't use references. You had a whole video store, but you couldn't use references.
That's brutal.
It was hard.
I love it
because people like to challenge you, and I like a challenge.
Yeah, of course.
Especially people. A lot of people like big movies, and people will say, "I really like movies," and they like blockbusters.
Right.
They try to connect the dots and trick you by saying, "Hey, connect this big movie star to this shitty movie," and it's like, little did you know, I've seen that guy's entire library of films. I know all about Neil Breen. Oh, bring it on! Like I can connect. So that's one game.
Please connect Neil Breen to any big movie star.
That would be hard. Seriously, because he's so obscure.
Well, like everyone in his movies is obscure because they're all like fans.
They're all just like people he knows.
Right.
And I don't know that Neil Breen has been in anything other than his own work.
Other than like documentaries and like YouTube stuff,
right?
I don't count that.
I don't either. It has to be like a film.
Yeah.
Another game that I'd like to play is, so if you like this, you'll like that.
Oh God, that's my favorite game.
Yep.
So much so that I said, if I could have any job on the planet, and get paid and actually have an okay life, it's I would sit down and recommend movies to people. So you would tell me 3 movies.
Yeah.
I would give you some back that you've never heard of and would love.
Do you like to do it where it's like, okay, you like Die Hard, let me recommend you The Raid? Like, do you try to do like a 1-to-1 ratio, or do you like to do it where it's like, so let me give you a movie. It's like Bill and Ted meets this meets.
You have to.
Like, okay, yeah.
Also, but I always say, give me 3 movies. Because one movie, I might not understand what you like about it. Like, I like Fight Club. It's like, oh, well, you'll love this other mind-bending movie by Cronenberg because it really gets inside your brain and like festers there. And he's like, no, I just like watching people beat each other up. It's like, okay, our conversation's done. Yeah. You go fucking watch Michael Bay. I'll be over here. But oh my god, I know we can go off on tangents. We had a video game that we were talking about.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that game.
So, video game came out, looked interesting, and then a killer arrives.
In a pig mask.
Oh, is that what it was? Literally, I blanked.
I think it was a pig mask and like a trench coat, and he's trying to murder you. And you have to like escape the video store.
What a dumb idea. I want to stay there.
Right, exactly. If anything, you barricade yourself in the video store.
Yeah, you got shit to watch.
That's where I got lost. Plus, it was $11 for like, I think I saw like...
You said it was like 2 hours of content.
2 hours of gameplay. Yeah. Like, the cost isn't worth the gameplay. No. Now, not that I can dedicate hundreds of hours to a video game. I mean...
But...
I will if...
Well, no, of course we will, yeah.
Right. But you want to get the most for your money.
You want to get the most for your money.
And I want to support indie developers.
110%. I would rather give my money to an indie developer, whether it be a movie, video game, comic book, whatever, than someone who's through a business. I would 100 times out of 100.
And don't get me wrong, I still buy the big games.
Yeah.
I bought Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy this new Star Wars game that's coming out. Like, hands down. I'm
still buying VHS tapes.
There's nothing, dude. That type of stuff is making such a big comeback, though.
Really
like,
is.
I'm on TikTok.
Yeah.
And
you send me them.
Yeah, I send you a lot of TikToks. I never know if you watch them, but I'm always thinking of you when I see stuff.
If you send me a video, I've watched it.
Okay. That is.
I might not respond.
A, that is impressive. B, wow. Because I've sent you and it's like Japan. It's that VHS guy picking like, what number of tape shall we do today? And I just love him. I think he's fantastic. Like little weird art things, like pixel art things. Like I send you so much bullshit because I'm always like, Jay would like that. Jay would like that.
I'm always going to check it out. I might not like it, but okay. I do check it out because I'll like if you're given if you're taking the time to send me something, I will. It might not be right then. It might be the next day, but
I never anticipate.
I always check it out. It's usually in bed or on the toilet.
Yeah, well, and that's usually where I'm sending them from.
As it should be.
That's I've never like at my desk like, I wonder what's on TikTok. It's like I'm like I got to take a poop. Well,
TikTok
maybe I'll think of my best friend. But like
Jay will love this.
Check. But no, seriously, like retro media is making a huge. Vinyl has been huge for years.
Vinyl's been huge for a long time now. Yeah.
I was texting with Chris about this the other day because he's into music in a really big way.
Well, I mean, rightfully so. He makes it,
and he's awesome at it.
Oh my god, I watch his live stream, and I'm just like, how the fuck are you doing this?
I know, but it's
so intimidating.
But what's funny too is that if he watched your live stream, if you were to live edit something, he'd be the same way.
But it's I don't get it because like that's like artistry. I'm like put video next to video.
This cut looks clean.
Yeah, exactly. I'm good. Go take a sandwich break.
It was interesting though. He said to me the other day. He said, Andrew, it's interesting because people get tired of perfect. He's like, and we're kind of at that moment where you can auto-tune everybody that's singing. You can make the song perfect. But people are going back to vinyl because there's warmth to it.
They want the pops. They want the hits.
They want that. And then we went down a rabbit hole, and we could talk about this in film too, but you took audio classes in college, right?
Multiple, yeah.
I did too. And I don't know if you had this experience, but we had a audio professor. His name was Mr. Solers. He was super cool. He would play really popular songs from the 60s and the 70s.
All right.
And he would call out where the cuts were. So he would call, like, I cannot listen to certain Beatles songs without hearing those cuts very prominently. Yeah. And so now I listen for the cuts. And it's harder to find them in music now. But if you go back to like even in the 90s.
Because they were using magnetic tape.
Exactly. And they were just, a lot of these musicians, especially like in the 90s and stuff, like they were strung out. Like in the grunge scene, they were strung out. They had to just take what they could get and mash it together to get a full song.
Shit, I didn't know that.
And it's, like I can hear the cuts. And I love it because of that. Because it's not a seamless production. It's a team effort.
Yeah, right.
Same with a movie.
Right. Well,
you can appreciate when I know you more than anybody, when you watch a movie that's well edited, and if you can, do you ever have movies? And if you have, I'd love to hear one where you watch it and you sit back and you go, that was so good and so well edited, I didn't even notice the cuts.
Yes, it is extremely rare.
Yeah,
and it's not because there's nothing good out there. It's just because if something's good, I tend to notice it because I'm like, oh, the timing was too good there. That was really good. But being in the industry, like working in video,
right?
It's very easy to call the bullshit. It's very easy to call the fuck ups. It's very easy to like make fun of people who like suburban Sasquatch,
right?
Where it's like obviously no talent.
Yeah.
But when you watch something good, typically, if the story is being told right, I mean, 100% the rule of any filmmaker or artist in general is to emotionally engage you.
Right.
So if you're emotionally engaged enough to not notice the production, they did a good job.
Yeah.
But I think the more involved you are and the more you're trying to better yourself as an artist and trying to suss out where are those pops, where is that cut in the audio, trying to understand it, it's never off. It never turns off, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I'll watch like Chainsaw Man because I can't draw. I can't do animation. And when
you absolutely can draw first and foremost. You're an amazing artist.
Been 3 years, so probably not anymore. But so I'll watch like good animation, and I'm like, I'm floored by it because I've watched a lot of dumpster fire animation.
You commit too. Like you won't stop. You're like, I gave it 37 episodes, and I'm like, bro.
well, I mean, there's a lot of dog shit out there.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of good stuff too.
There is, and you gotta. It's just like other movies. You gotta find and sift through the rubble to find the diamonds.
That's what I always tell my wife is. I was really big into not Dr. Pepper, root beer. for a long time.
You were.
And I still am. It's just harder to find.
Yeah.
So my job for like maybe 3 years, like my core existence was tracking down new types of root beer. Mm-hmm. And whenever I drank one that I was like, oh, no, that's gross, and just immediately poured it out.
Yeah.
My wife would be like, oh, I'm so sorry. That sucks. I'm like, no, I got to try it.
Yeah.
Just because it sucks doesn't mean my experience with it sucked.
That's a good way to look at it.
It's the exact same thing with movies.
Right.
You know, I've watched a lot of dog shit movies. You've watched a lot of dog shit movies.
We've watched them together. We've tortured both of our wives for years.
Well, let's be honest, they sleep.
They sleep.
We continue to watch
They're
it.
like, this is Jay and Andrew's time. Andrea and Andrea will have nap time.
Yeah, right. But like, I mean, even like some of the really terrible films, those are the ones that are fun to watch.
Yes.
But there are some like, you know, higher production value movies that are just fucking terrible. Yes. And the more we watch those, I don't know where I'm going with it. I just went off on a fucking
keep
tangent.
going. I'm following it.
Okay, cool. I lost track, so I'm just going to keep talking.
A little ways.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
no structure is beautiful. That's the beauty of this. Anyways, keep talking. I'll
lost
stop.
it.
You can throw money at a movie. It doesn't.
Yeah, you can throw money in a movie. It doesn't matter if you don't have talent, if you don't have a good structure, or if you have too many fucking fingers in the butthole.
Yep.
It collapses. You know,
right.
That's what happened with the new Star Wars movies. There's too many fucking fingers in the butthole.
Dude.
So
you're not even kidding there.
Oh! Speaking of which, did you ever watch the Ivan cut of Star Wars Episode 8?
No.
Holy shit!
I don't think I've ever heard of it. Tell me about the Ivan cut.
Holy shit! I have it. I just moved it off my server to make room because it's like 50 gig. So I had to I'm gonna compress it and I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Dude made it available for 1 hour on his website.
And you got it?
So I was following him for like half a year because he would release a YouTube update every week.
Okay.
He's like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm taking this out. I'm doing this. And he would hype it. He'd be like, okay, guys, Thursday, noon, I am dropping it. Then it's gone. So I was waiting. I was like, okay, new fucking go. I got it. It is dope, dude.
Really?
It is so good.
Is it 7, 8, and 9? Or
no,
is it just 8?
Just 8.
Okay, I'm down.
And what he did was he rearranged a lot of stuff, took complete scenes out, all the jokes are gone.
Okay, good.
Like when Poe first comes up at the very beginning and he's like, I can't hear you. Tap, tap, tap. I'm on the phone with your mom. Something like that.
Yeah.
He cut that whole thing out. And basically he comes up there and the guy threatens him. He's like, okay, let's go. And then he just fucking zooms in. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
That's Han Solo.
Yes.
Poe's Han Solo in that edit. And then when Rey tells Luke that everyone's dead.
Yes.
Or Han's dead. I think. It's been a minute since I've watched it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
In the original, Luke goes back to his hut and he's like, okay, I'm going to go drink some titty milk now.
Oh.
And then
the blue milk.
In his cut, he actually edits a scene further in the movie where he's kind of bumming around his hut and puts it there because it gives Luke time to understand that his best friend just died.
Right.
And it's like, oh my God, I had no idea how much that was needed.
And here's the thing.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
I'm so excited that you're telling me about this because I've felt for the longest time of the dumpster fire of 7, 8, and 9.
Right.
8 was the best. And that sucks because 8 was bad.
Yeah.
But 9 was drivel.
9 is trying to put spackle on cat shit.
Yes.
And just making it worse.
And outside of Star Wars, I don't mind some of Rian Johnson's work. I really liked Glass
Looper
Onion,
was fucking awesome.
Knives Out,
I hated Knives Out. I can't get into it. And Glass Onion was so
it's a slow burn. It's really it's not even slow burn. It's a molasses strip. I mean, it is very slow.
I like slow burns. I mean, give me Ty West, man. I watched Pearl and X.
Okay, I was just gonna bring it up.
Dynamite.
I have not watched Pearl yet. I watched X, and maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind because I wasn't a huge fan of X. I didn't get it.
It is nowhere near as good as his earlier stuff. I think Innkeepers is hands down my favorite film of his.
100%. Innkeepers is his best. Second follow-up, and this is a very obscure cut, his story in the first VHS movie.
Oh, I loved it.
It was so
I loved
good.
it because it was the slow burn.
So good. But when the haunting came and the
couple,
face,
right?
Yes. In the haunted house.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Like, I did not like, or I shouldn't say I didn't like it. I wasn't a huge fan of the babysitter. What was it, Hell House or...
Oh, like the 70s throwback?
Yeah. House of the Devil.
Thank you.
I wanted it to be better than it was.
I wanted to like it because that's what I grew up with. It was that
Don't
aesthetic.
go in the basement. All that type of stuff.
It didn't feel good though.
No. Innkeepers. Holy fuck.
I rewatched it recently too. It still holds up great.
It's got some good scares in it. It's got a great story.
Atmospheric as fuck.
Oh, and the ending is just like...
It's earned.
Yes. And it's one of those endings, and I don't find it often in movies or shows. I got it a lot with... Not a lot. I got it most recently with The Last of Us episode 8, where I was breathless at the end. Where I'm watching it and I'm going, how am I going to inhale? Because I don't want to. I want to live in this feeling. I want to live in this
moment. Yeah.
And then I don't want anyone to talk to me. Like, my wife jumped in and she was like, well, I was like, shh. No. We marinate in this feeling. Let it wash over you. This is one of those revelations you have where you go,
yes.
Fuck.
Yes.
For like 5 minutes. The other one I remember having like that visceral kind of reaction to was, surprisingly, Dancer in the Dark with Bjork.
Never saw it. It lost my radar. I forgot about it, and then...
Dude, it's not one that I would ever recommend. I'm not a big Lars von Trier guy.
I am teeter-totter.
I appreciate him.
Okay, yeah, fair. Like Antichrist, I fucking loved Antichrist. I liked what was Gus Van Sant. Never mind. Wrong.
Same but different.
Lars Van Trier did Antichrist. I was thinking of Elephant, which was Gus Van Sant.
Well, an Elephant was interesting because that came out. That was like one of the first big movies after
Columbine. Right.
And that I was in high school when Columbine came out.
I was in college. Yeah, I remember our dorm fucking shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Everyone in our dorm was like silent.
I remember. So this is weird. So I was a senior in high school, I think, when it happened.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine being in high school in that.
I had a big high school campus. My graduating class was like 1,500 people. And
Jesus, I thought 600 was a lot.
I don't know anybody from high school, and like people I know, like people like remember me.
Chances you might be.
Like people friend me, like try to friend me from high school on Facebook, and I'm like, you remember me?
I didn't like you then. I'm not gonna like you now.
Some of it I'm like, I did like you, and then I'm like, hey dude, how you doing? And then they don't message, and that's fine. But I remember, so there was a kid. We had a couple kids that we had like a small goth gathering, and I was just kind of friends with everyone.
You're a butterfly.
I dug Marilyn Manson. I like horror movies. You know, like I can get on board with it. So I started befriending this he was kind of an outcast kid in my English class, and he was pretty nice once you got to know. But you could tell he had a bad home life. Shit was going wrong.
That's typically.
Yeah. So Columbine happened. We're in English class and we're talking about it, and my teacher, she says, "Well, tell me what you think. Like." It's healthy to talk about.
Oh my God, I'm so glad your teacher did that.
Dude, she was awesome. Miss White. She was just the coolest person.
Wow.
She really was supportive of my wrestling club fandom. She was all about me being a WCW Sting fan.
I was going to say, I wanted to emphasize that we were on opposite ends of the spectrum when it came to wrestling.
I was WCW, you were WWF.
Oh, no. I was collegiate.
Oh, you were real wrestling. You were real wrestling. I liked entertainment.
I didn't like it until college, and I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But I remember this kid sitting next to me, and so she's like, let's talk about it. And he raises his hand.
Good for him.
And I'm like, okay, we're going to get some truth knocked on us, I think. I think he's going to tell us some shit. This guy proceeds to say, well, if it were me.
Oh, no!
Here's what I would have done. And here's how I would have hidden from the pigs.
Oh my God!
And I'm like some girls started crying.
He needed attention. That was a scream for help right there.
He got expelled.
For that?
For that. He got expelled.
And rightfully fucking so.
Oh, you know, you say, here's how I would do it.
Yeah.
And right after, and so it was just great. But I will never forget sitting there going, like, you know those moments where you feel your butthole clench? Yes. Like, I was like, ooh, it's not good.
It's happening.
This is a bad thing. But Elephant was the first movie after it. And Gus Van Sant's one of those directors, like Lars von Trier, where he's a little more avant-garde.
Yeah.
He's a little more...
doesn't care for like the quote-unquote how movies should be
made. No, he's kind of like if David Lynch didn't give a fuck about a budget. Not that I'm saying David Lynch does, but like Gus Van Sant just kind of was like, we'll make this movie. And they just did it. Like Elephant was one of them. Didn't he do Gummo?
Oh, God, is that him?
Or was that the guy that did Kids? I mix them up.
Larry Clark. Larry Clark. God, your memory is... Oh, my God. We should just call this show A Guy Who Knows Everything, and then the guy who is guffawed at how much shit he doesn't know.
Andrew just names people.
Oh, my God, dude. Every fucking time. Like... Honestly, I swear to God, there are times when like I get a little chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I know Saturn's Court's complete line of films. And then you come in and go, oh, that lady was the third actress in this porno, which actually went on to be this amazing actress in this never seen before movie. It only played in one theater ever, and then it burned down and everyone died. But she actually lived to become a ghost in another movie. It's like, what are you talking about? And like you will name drop all these things. It's like, well, she was actually married to the caterer of, but instead of the caterer, like you actually named the caterer and his cats. And then like, I'm fucking floored at your knowledge. It's intimidating.
I wish I wish I could use it to make money. You know, like I wish I could be like, hey, there's that guy that names things. Here's $5. Name something. Name someone. And I'd be like, okay, who do you want me to name? And they're like, who is that guy that was in the Evil Bong movies and he was old? And I'll be like, oh, the guy that was from Terror Vision? Yeah, they call him Rabbit.
Oh, but, Jesus Christ.
Like,
I love Terror Vision.
Terror Vision is one of...
I love Terror Vision so
Can I just tell you, my love for Terror Vision goes so fucking deep. And I don't say that lightly, because it's one of those movies where if you haven't seen Terror Vision, long story short, an alien from space gets teleported to Earth through a satellite dish, and he takes over the best word is kitschy, a kitschy family, 80s family's cable TV sets, and he proceeds to possess them to try and eat them. And it's phenomenal. That's all we need. That's the plot. I won't say anything else. Go watch Terror Vision again.
You gave a pretty good synopsis. That's pretty clean. I was waiting for you to be like, shit happens, alien.
I will say there is some things that I really love about Terror. Can I just talk about this really quick?
Oh, fuck, let's go down this one too.
Nobody watches Terror Vision.
No, of course not.
You and I think I talked to one guy at a horror movie t-shirt printing company about Terror Vision.
What a fucking deep cut.
Like I was at
horror movie t-shirt.
There was a Pizza Party Printing does horror movie t-shirts.
Oh, yeah. You bought me one. I love it. It's the VHS
one.
I love it.
And I go, dude, you have a Terror Vision shirt? He's like, fuck yeah. And I'm like, awesome. Can we talk about it for a minute? He goes, fuck yeah. So we talked about it.
That's awesome.
He was really, really cool. People that are into horror like that and they choose to make it their career, they get it. Yeah, and I love them for it. My favorite factoids, and these will be brief.
Drop.
First things first. You open on a planet. We don't know what the planet is, but it's on like a moon, and there's all these buildings, and it's a prison planet. One of the models of one of the buildings is an upside down Star Trek Enterprise model. From the original series.
No shit.
Yeah. You'll watch it again and you'll
be obvious.
Holy fuck, it is.
Yeah.
The other couple things.
Like, did you know that? Like when you watched it, or like is that like
right away?
Really?
Right away.
Wow.
I was like, that is the Upside Down Enterprise.
You're a big Star Trek fan, so
I do like Star Trek. Yeah. I have seen a couple episodes.
Maybe one or two.
One or two.
Actually, 138. We're not counting the double episode of the.
Do you count the throwback episodes from Deep Space Nine with Trouble with Turtles? So the other thing I like about it, have you seen Napoleon Dynamite?
Rabidly so.
Uncle Rico is the character known as...
Wait, the actor?
Yes, the guy who plays Uncle Rico, and John Grease.
Yeah.
You'll also know him from Fred Decker's classic film,
I like Fred Durkheim.
Monster Squad.
Who is he in Monster Squad?
He's the werewolf. He's Wolfman. Wolfman's got nards. He's the fucking Wolfman.
Uncle Rico's got nards?
Yes.
Why have we not made that into a shirt yet, by the way?
Well, they made a documentary, right?
Yeah, I know.
But Uncle Rico, yeah.
Why isn't Uncle Rico's got nards? I can throw that football over the mountain.
That would be amazing. I can throw them nards over the mountain.
I can throw them nards over the mountain.
But so his name's John Grease, not like the oil, but Gries.
Yeah.
He was the Wolfman in Monster Squad.
Oh my God, he was.
He was
it's starting to come back to me.
Yeah, and he was also the boyfriend in Terror Vision named I can't think of his name. It's not Bleach. He's like a heavy metal 80s heavy metal rocker guy boyfriend. And so he's in Terror Vision, but also he's dating the girl who, and I do not remember her name. I'll say that I will admit that up front. But she was the love interest in Better Off Dead, the French girl.
Yes.
God,
I had the biggest crush on her when I was a kid.
Same.
Holy shit.
And she's the girl in Terror Vision with the wild hair.
No shit!
And they're dating. That's like...
What the fuck? Why did I...
It's crazy. Like...
I'm so upset right now.
Right? And she looked amazing with that teased out 80s like punk rocker hair. And so it was like that. I love that factoid. It's like you have this schlocky 80s movie that's so ridiculous. Like, okay, it's so ridiculous. They have an Elvira character named Medusa who's wearing essentially a bikini and fake rubber snakes in her hair. And it's amazing. But Uncle Rico...
I had no idea.
And the husband... Well, okay, the wife... So there's two parents who own the kitschy house. The husband, he was in a bunch of horror movies in the 80s. I don't remember his name. But his wife, her name is Mary...
Get the fuck out.
Mary something. But so she was in Chopping Mall. She was in Warlock. She was like a scream queen in the 80s.
God.
And you'll know her when you see her. Like... In Warlock, she is the tarot card reader where she puts her head down and she pops her head up and she's got the fangs and stuff.
Okay, talking fucking ancient. I saw that in the drive-in.
Did you really?
Not since.
I am so I love Warlock. That's a great Julian Sands movie.
Damn, dude. Okay.
The video game.
Before that, because I gotta throw a monkey wrench in your fucking knowledge.
Let's do it.
Of terror here.
And I feel like I'm commanding this conversation, so I apologize if I'm talking too much.
I fucking love it. Dookie Flyswatter. Yes. Who the fuck was Dookie Flyswatter?
Okay, so Dookie Flyswatter is like this weird anomaly, right?
Yeah, so he just shows up in credits.
Right. And he's been in pretty popular cult films.
It's pretty shocking.
It is, because he was in a band, and his band is terrible. I don't remember what they're called. I think it's Dookie Flyswatter and the something.
And the SWATs.
Something like that.
The fly SWAT. The swatted flies.
Dookie Flyswatter and the Flies. That would make sense.
That'd be fucking terrible anyway.
Yeah. But it's supposed to be like a weird punk band, but it's not punk.
Of course it is with that name.
But he made friends with the guys at Full Moon Cinema.
Oh. Well, okay, keep going.
At least a couple.
Okay.
Because I know him best from Nightmare Sisters.
That's how I know him, as the goofy, scary, weird fucking tarot reader.
He's the tarot reader, and then he did the soundtrack. His band did the soundtrack.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
as you watch Linnea Quigley and Brink Stevens and what's her nuts.
I can't believe you can name all of them.
Dude, I loved them.
I know.
They were
Linnea Quigley is in it. I'm good to go. When Andy and I, we do Two Cats on the Couch.
Yeah.
And we have a pantheon. If Linnea.
I always say Linnea. I don't know.
I always said Linnea. Andy saw her in an interview where she called herself Linnea.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah. So Quigley.
They call her Quigs.
They call her Quigs down under. Linda Blair.
Yep.
And Cynthia Rothrock.
Yes.
If they're in a movie, we stop what we're doing and we watch that movie.
Yeah. What was the not Streets of Rage? What was Street Sisters or it's on the tip of my tongue.
Oh my God, what is it? Savage Weekend?
Savage Streets.
No.
Savage
Is it
Streets.
Savage Streets?
Yeah.
Where
Linda Blair
gets all the black leather
Yes.
oneie. Oh my God.
Dude,
that was the movie that turned us into a fan.
If you didn't have a crush on Linda Blair post Exorcist 2,
You do now.
you now. Yeah. She is gorgeous.
And badass. 'Cause she has a crossbow.
Oh yeah.
Good enough for me.
And Linnea was like her mentally handicapped sister in Savage Streets who gets raped and causes Linda Blair to go on a rampage.
Right.
Which was amazing.
Yep.
Like, Linnea has been in so many cult movies. I'm not going to say good movies. I'm going to say cult movies. She's been in one amazing movie, which, as we know, is Return of the Living Dead Part 1.
I love that we just, like, obviously it's this one fucking movie. And anyone listening going, huh?
If people can follow...
If people are listening to us, they know Dan O'Bannon's Opus.
Yes. Oh, yes.
1985.
And
You Need a
Medica Supply Company.
I love the name.
And they like tour. All of them tour from Return of the Living Dead. I mean, of course, not Dan O'Bannon, he's dead. And the guy who played Suicide, he's dead.
Such a fucking shame. Dan O'Bannon brought so much goodness to this world.
So I agree. Anyway. And that's why I get really mad at people who say they're Alien fans. And then they go, Ridley Scott's back in Alien. Motherfucker, Alien is not a Ridley Scott film.
It's not.
Alien is a Dan O'Bannon film.
100%.
Ridley Scott just happened to be the guy lucky enough to direct it.
Yeah.
He had no part.
That script was locked. It was gorgeously good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a slow burn. It's a ghost house movie.
It's a ghost house movie,
in
correct.
space, and it's amazing.
Yep.
But Linnea Quigley.
Yes.
I've been a fan. I remember. Okay, so I'll tell you what got me into it, and I do have a question for you after this.
After Dookie Flyswatter?
Oh, Dookie Flyswatter. So I got into Linnea Quigley.
We'll get back to the video game at some point.
Yeah, at some point. So Joe Bob Briggs' Monster Vision.
Oh God, yeah.
I think that was a lot of our foray into horror.
Agreed.
And sleazy eroticism in horror. Yeah. And I remember watching. I was babysitting at the time. These like uber Christian people. And I caught Joe Bob's Monster Vision at their house.
Oh my God! Please keep going down this story.
And it was Return of the Living Dead Part 1.
Oh my God! It was
the first time I ever saw it.
You're kidding!
First time. I think I was maybe 15 or 16.
What?
And I'd never seen it. And I'm like, this movie's amazing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Trash took off her clothes again. And I was like, my heart be still.
My pants be tight.
Yes. I have to go. But they came home right in the last, the parents came home within the last, 10 minutes of the film.
When all hell is breaking loose.
Yeah. So I get up to the point where the zombies are invading the mortuary.
Right.
You know, Billy and his Cindy, I think her name is, are up in the attic.
Yeah.
The old... the mortuary guy, the crematorium owner, and Cindy are up in the attic, and Billy's up there.
Right. I got what you were saying. Yeah.
So they come home, and I had to turn it off really quick because they were super, super Christian.
Yeah.
So they're like, how was, they're going through the motions. I'm like, it's great. Pay me. Pay me. So they slipped me my money, and I ran track in high school. I've never sprinted this hard home in my fucking life.
Want to finish the movie?
And I dive. It was like something you would see Ferris Bueller jumping over the fences. I'm diving through the garage door and floating onto the couch, and I slam the TV on, and credits are rolling.
Oh
and
my
I was like,
God, no, you didn't get to see the bomb
For 3 years.
What?
I could not find a I didn't know what it was called.
Well...
Because at the time, they didn't always say, we're watching Return of the Living Dead.
Correct.
And I caught it after the movie had started. So I only knew, maybe the 30 minutes in up to, the last 10 minutes. So I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know how to find it. I didn't know who any of the people were.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what started fueling my fire to start looking into things.
No shit.
And learning about all this. By happenstance, I was taking guitar lessons at the time. And this was in the early days of CDRs and CD burnings.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a new guitar teacher, and he's big into horror. And I said, okay, you got to help me find this movie. I'm dying. And so I said, there's this lady named Trash. She goes, say no more.
Ah! Can you name another movie?
Right, no.
Yeah.
And he brought it to me on 3 CDRs. And I finally got to see the ending 3 years later.
Dude, those discs are holy fucking grail to your story.
Oh, I love it.
That's amazing.
I still have them somewhere.
Do you really?
I think I do.
Oh,
I have no CDR player to play them on, but that was how we did shit. Like it was a VHS copy took up a lot of space.
Correct. But I mean, I wish I still had a lot of my old boots.
Yeah.
Just because like of the nostalgia of it. I mean, the quality was garbage. But it's like, I like shit quality.
Yeah.
Because the first time you watched it, you didn't care.
And yeah.
You got to like enjoy something. And my buddy was really big into Asian films.
Sure.
So he would give me that, and I'd give him horror films. And we would trade.
That's so cool.
And like my shit can be found. His shit was harder to find because a lot of companies weren't bringing those movies over.
Right. You had to watch Asian films bootleg.
And you had to watch them bootleg. I mean, fuck. You and I tracked down a movie, Sukaban Boy.
Yes.
$160 on Amazon right now.
What?
I don't know why I want to watch it again, but like I got to bug up my ass. And I love Asami. I want to watch everything she's in.
Agreed.
I want to watch Sukaban Boy. $160 fucking on Amazon. Cannot find it anywhere else.
That's fucking
on
crazy.
DVD.
And I wish I would have kept a lot of those bootlegs myself. But as you age and you're moving around a lot, you gotta unload dead weight.
Yep.
So my question to you,
yes,
because Return of the Living Dead is kind of what sparked my interest in. I always enjoyed horror, but that sparked my interest in finding. And I think not knowing for 3 years and then finding other movies and like
The Hunt,
knowing how important it was to know certain names and know certain. That's kind of why I'm like this. So what was that movie that you saw it and you went, oh, this is what I like? It, and it doesn't need to be a horror movie, but just like what was that movie, like a bad movie or something that kind of made you stick with, I like bad or I like horror movies or this is the part that I like.
Yeah. Okay, so when I was a kid, my mom was like turbo. I'm not gonna say Christian.
Okay.
But she was turbo religious.
Gotcha.
And
that's tough.
Like I had a Guns N' Roses tape, and she thought they were devil worshippers. Ooh. Appetite for Destruction, devil worshipping. Listen to it now. It's about being high.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I wasn't allowed to watch, horror shit.
Right.
But I was fascinated. My cousin, who was 1 year younger than me, that's all he did was watch horror films.
Okay.
And he would buy horror masks, and like he wanted to make horror movies, and I was just fascinated by it. So my dad's rule was he would let me watch a horror film if he could watch it with me or before me.
Okay.
So he could put it in context. So, like, I wouldn't watch it and go, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
What we would do is we would watch it together, and he would be like, do you know what they're doing here?
Right.
And I'd be like, oh, yeah, his head popped off. He's like, well, okay, that's a fake head. And even as a kid, I was like, well, yeah, because why would they do it in a movie? It's dumb. But what we would do is we'd fuck around, and, like, he had a VHS. I wish I had these. They're gone. They're gone to the ages. But we would,
love to see
we would fuck around on camera and try and, like, oh, take off a head. Like we'd use like a pot, like a cooking pot or something. That's a head. Oh no. And it was like, okay, well that solidified my idea of this is fake.
Yeah.
I want to keep digging.
Yeah.
And then I watched Evil Dead 2. Had no idea there was an Evil Dead 1. Yep. I just thought it was Evil Dead 2. Cool.
I'm so glad you're telling me this story.
And I remember my parents were away. I was alone in my house. I was like 8 or 9.
Okay.
Well, no, sorry. I was 10. I was 10.
Okay.
Because we moved to a new house. Like this is important to the story. Anyway, I was 10 years old. They went away to like a night of like a date night or whatever.
Sure.
I stayed at home. I was, watching HBO, and Evil Dead 2 comes on. And my little ass got so fucking terrified.
It's a scary movie.
It is so devastating.
Oh, yeah.
And as a kid, you don't see the humor in it.
No.
Like when that eye pops out and does the whole Three Stooges gag,
yes.
goes into Ash's mouth. I was like, ew, gross. I wasn't like, ha ha, that's funny. It's like, fucking nasty. I wasn't saying fucking nasty.
No, but
I was very hood as a child. But that movie made me go, holy shit, I don't know how they did that, because I was really into like how it was done.
Right.
I need to start digging. What else is out there that I don't know about? can make me feel like that again. Can give me that squick. It was years later that I found the word squick.
Yeah.
But it makes you go, yeah. You know?
I actually think you and I are the originators of the word squick on Urban Dictionary. No joke.
I don't think so, man. I mean, if we are, fucking A. But I remember, like, granted, my memory's for shit, sir.
I'm going to Google it.
Please do.
I'm going to Google it.
I mean, it would be great, but like I kept digging for the squick. So I kept digging, like, I would read books, and I would hunt down, and, like, I wanted to go to conventions, and you read about them in Fango, and it's like, I want to do this. But, like, my big thing was, if it was not released, if it was officially not released, and I could get a bootleg of it,
right.
For some reason, those were more coveted. Those were more like special. Those were the hardcore ones. And they never were. They were always shit. They were always like really fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But like before you watched it, like that was like the origin of hype.
Oh, yeah.
Like what's on that black spine? I want to know what's that. No, of course we're not. But I do like the hype that you just built it. It's like, we're the origin. We created that.
I remember submitting something for us at one point in time.
We did it when we were on my remote radio. We were submitting quite a few things.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
This is not our first podcast.
It is not.
It's not nearly the first.
Our most fun, though.
This is definitely. Oh, my God, I'm loving this.
So you were going down the rabbit hole. That's good. No, but that's good. And that's interesting because I have a very emotional attachment to the Evil Dead series as well. I saw the first one. So I think you and I, let's talk about video stores for a minute.
Yeah.
So we both worked at a Hollywood Video. You worked at a Tower Records as well.
Yeah.
I applied at a Hollywood Video in college and thought I was getting a prank call and hung up on the interview. And then I reapplied in college.
That makes me so happy.
and I got the job.
Same place, same location?
No. Mine was in Muncie, Indiana, where I was in college.
Okay.
I was from Carmel, Indiana, the one I was going for. But so when I was young, though, there was this thing we used to do called just, riding bikes without adult supervision. We would just go outside, we'd be this neighborhood gang.
My favorite activity, yeah.
And we had a grocery store, like an open strip mall.
Yeah.
Maybe like half a mile from our house.
Okay.
So as kids, there was I don't know if anybody's gonna know this, but before it was a CVS, it was called a Hooks Pharmacy. It's called Hooks.
I don't know that.
And so we'd go to Hooks Pharmacy to get candy and pop.
Yeah.
There was a place called Gopher's Pizza next to it, and it had it was a putting green, and it was a bowling alley, and then it was an arcade, and you could get pizza. So we'd go fuck around there for a while.
Okay.
And then next to that was a Box Office Video.
Box Office?
It was called Box Office, and I don't know if it's a chain.
I was gonna say it might have been local.
I think it was, because I've never heard anyone ever talk about Box Office Video.
Ours is Video Images.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them, but just around.
Yeah, kind of like how Family Video is kind of localized and still around.
Wow.
They're huge now. They're huge.
Are they? Because the two that I know have closed.
They might be all washed up now, but I know
they're all singly owned. I don't think they're corporate anymore.
They might be, because I know they're partnered with Marcus Pizza or something like that now.
Oh, I never heard of this. All right.
Last time I went to a Family Video, I was working here at the printer company.
No shit.
Yeah, it was that recently.
Oh, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
That recently, yet that long
ago.
Yeah,
right.
But Box Office Video was my local video haunt. And it was corporatized. They wanted to be a blockbuster.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't
mine was not.
Okay. See, I wish mine wasn't so corporatized. Right. I wish it was that
so
mom
much
and pop.
Better.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But I remember I would go there, and they didn't care at the time. It didn't matter how old you were.
Of
just
course.
rent the fucking video. Get out of here.
Yeah, give me my $2
right.
and bring it back.
So I remember I was renting everything I could find in the horror movie section at the time.
Yup.
And I asked them, I was looking through stuff that was pre-owned.
Oh,
and I found a clamshell case of Evil Dead. The one where Ash was holding the chainsaw. It was black, and then the girl...
I know not the girl.
It was a different girl, a promotional girl.
Correct.
Yes. So I had that. I had asked about that case, and I said, do you have this for rent? And he said, no, just for sale. I said, okay, I'll buy it.
What a good purchase, man.
Dude, best purchase I ever bought. And let me tell you the story behind why.
It's actually a porno inside. Changed my life.
Dude, that would have actually kind of sucked, because Evil Dead was so good.
Evil's so good!
It was so good.
So
my buddy that went with me, he was not a horror movie fan. He just didn't get it. So I said, let's just give it a try. Like, it's something different.
Oh my God, the first one?
Yeah. And it's a summer vacation day. My parents are working. His parents are working. We're alone at my house, hanging out, watching a movie. My brother's at daycare.
So perfect.
So we ride our bikes home and we watch The Evil Dead.
Yes.
And then immediately as it ends, a giant, massive thunderstorm happens. And I'm like, my friend is freaking the fuck out. And I'm like, dude, it's not that big a deal. Like, just chill out. And he was like, it was so scary, Andrew. And so we started talking. And I said, well, like, tell me what was scary about it. And so I was like, I admit, it was a really fun movie. He's like, fun? I was like, no, let's talk about it. So he's like, I just don't understand how you're not scared by what they did. And I'm like, well, let's go back and look at it. So like,
Jimmy had to be on the show.
Jimmy knows. So he was like, one of the parts that scared him was Cheryl in the cellar as she was transforming.
Rightfully fucking so.
So we wound it back, and I paused it, and I said, look at it. I'm like, look at it. It's not that scary. I'm like, you can see the makeup lines. You can see it's blue. Who do you know that's blue? And like, I walked him through my logic and we would find those cuts.
How old were you, roughly?
Probably 10.
Okay, yeah. Same with me with Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, around 10.
Yeah.
And like, the scene where Scotty goes from one room into the other, and you see a visible haircut take place.
Oh, yeah, right.
We found all these, like, inconsistencies.
You found them before, like...
Yeah, we were just...
like a thing.
And I was just trying to make my friend feel better.
Interesting.
And then I kind of, like, the whole, like, well, how did the spirit burst the door open? And I'm like, I don't know. And that question stuck with me. And then it was like the internet came out, and it was like I got really into Googling, like, well, how did they do the effects in The Evil Dead?
You got into AOL lane.
Yep. And it was like, well, and then you find out, like, they called that the Ramo cam.
Yeah.
And there was, and I'm like, really?
Yeah,
and that's really what got me, like, invested in, like, wow, filmmaking is an art, even for scary movies.
That's what did it for me, too. I love that we both had the same journey where, like, we both got into it for like, oh my God, they can do this, they can make this, and they can make the audience feel something by doing a joke.
Right.
By lying to us.
Exactly.
And then we both like deep dived the search. I love that. I'm super intrigued now to hear if like other horror fans also liked it the same way.
Because I think I hope so, because that's like...
That's really intriguing.
You know, we live in an age now where we have so much knowledge at our fingertips.
And instant knowledge.
I mean, our phone has more power in it than the space shuttles. And
I know, isn't that fucked up?
I miss the feeling of being curious about things.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, I get curious about things. I Google them immediately. I have to know.
Of course.
But that lingering, unsatisfied feeling, and then
3
figuring
years
it out,
trying to find Return of the Living Dead. Yeah,
right.
I get it. That's why I like VHS. I
agree.
I like to not be able to skip it or stop it.
I agree. I wanna watch it, and we've talked about this before too. VHS has a quality that is so warm and inviting to it. Now, it may just to other people look like static.
I think to us it's more nostalgia.
Absolutely,
because, at least when I was a kid, you know, my family's rule was we're going to the video store.
Yep.
Mom's gonna pick a movie, Dad's gonna pick a movie, and I get a movie.
Yep.
No one wanted to watch my movie.
Yeah.
Go watch your movie alone.
Yeah.
And that's basically how they shut me up for the night, which is fucking great because I got to watch a movie.
And that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Let me be alone and do my thing.
Watch my movie that I'm going to enjoy or hate, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Then I'm going to go buy the books, and I'm going to like figure out, and I'm going to read all about the books.
Okay, yeah. I thought you meant like the books of the movie. I'm like, that's where we differ.
Oh, I did have those, but it was never about like good movies. It was like Ghost Dad, the book.
Yeah, but like you also got into Stephen King. You got into like, you were a reader.
I'm a very big reader.
Which I wonder, like, if that's why you became a writer.
It could be. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, and this is something I'm working on with my confidence and my self-esteem as a creative individual.
Yeah.
I feel I have really good ideas.
Fuck yes, you do.
I have terrible execution of those because I constantly
because you're questioning yourself and
I compare myself to Stephen King or to Clive Barker or to the greats. And I'm trying to go on a journey to like not do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
And, break out of that.
Because you're a good writer.
Thank you.
You wrote one of my favorite stories that you never fucking finished.
Which one?
The Mausoleum of Doors. And I'm so
pissed at House of Locks.
Because that is...
House of Locks,
Jesus Christ, Andrew. We are living in a society that book series become movies and movies become franchises. And that would make a fucking franchise.
I think about it almost every day.
Me too.
And I go back and seriously, I go back and forth about it a lot. Like I want to go back, and I at one point in time, I thought, how could I? Because should we give a broad premise of it? It's not like anyone cares.
The four people who will listen to this
we care.
Will be intrigued, and I don't give a shit because it's us.
Yeah, we care.
Let's do it. That's what matters.
Well, so the story I had, and as I reread some of my ideas, I see some of my like depression and anxiety coming out in those.
With the guy on the train, the constant.
Yes.
So walk us through. Give us not so much an elevator pitch, but give us like a trailer pitch.
Yeah. So, and I'll go. The better memory I have is where I want to take it now.
Of course.
But so there's originally House of Locks, Lock Lacqueus is how I was going to spell it, and there was going to be a cemetery with a mausoleum, who is for locks. And it was the Locke family, not Locke like lock and key. It was, but playing on unlocking doors.
On this note, Lock and Key, I read your short story before I heard of Lock and Key.
Oh, okay.
And Lock and Key was just in its first comic book run.
Right.
Like I think they're on, like when I first saw Lock and Key, it was like issue 5 or 6.
Okay.
Of the first fucking series.
Yeah.
So I read your shit before that. Just throwing that out there.
That's awesome.
For all the fucking nuts out there be like, oh, you stole Lock and Key.
Stole it.
It's not. Anyway, please continue.
Yeah, because it's different.
It's wildly different.
I like ghost stories. And not that Lock and Key is not a great ghost story. It's a Lovecraftian story.
It's Lovecraftian.
My story was more around a person in search of something. And
anyway, guy's depressed with his life. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steamroll your fucking story.
He's depressed with his life, and where I want to take the story now was I really got into, and I'm still into, watching ghost videos on YouTube and urban exploration and what they find
and stuff for a while.
Yeah. And so where I wanted to take it was like, okay, there's this guy who wanted to make, kind of where my head was at now is, he wants to make like a YouTube channel, urban exploring, and doing ghost videos.
Okay, yeah.
And he finds this, he's riding on the train from work.
It makes him more of an adventurer, more of a journey, like in the Indiana Jones character. Like,
Absolutely.
Let's dig deeper.
And one day on the train, he looks out the window and he sees this cemetery he's never seen before.
Right.
And he goes home, he's Googling it. He can't find anything about it.
Oh, God, I love this.
And he's like, what the fuck? So he goes back and it's not there. And so he's trying to figure it out. And I can't remember how the stars aligned, or if it was a date or a time, or I don't remember that specific.
In the original story, the train broke down.
Oh, yes.
And he was like so depressed. It's like, oh, the same day. And he looked over his shoulder, and it's like, it was back.
Right.
And and then he snuck off the train.
Yes, and he snuck off the train and he ran. And he started exploring this cemetery.
The cemetery, yeah.
And he found the Locke Mausoleum. And he went inside, and all he found, if I remember...
Explain, how big was the Locke Mausoleum from the outside?
From the outside, it was a normal building. It had a small little... Like any mausoleum you would see. You look at it, there's 4 sides to it. There's a window, a stained glass window on each side, and a small little door. It could hold, think of a normal mausoleum. Usually, I think you get 2 bodies on each side, stacked on top of each other. So they would be about that big with a little space in the middle.
Right.
But when he went inside and he opened the door, he saw not the 2 things, but he saw an entryway, a large entryway with tiled floor, and there was a table in the middle with a bouquet of flowers.
Right.
And then all around him was doors.
You also had endless tiers going up.
Yes.
Like he couldn't see the ceiling. It was just staircases filled with doors everywhere. And it was the TARDIS mentality.
Exactly. It was bigger on the inside.
And that immediately made me go, oh, God, fucking graveyard that's not there during the day, not all days. Mausoleum that's way too big on the inside. Why is this happening?
And it just opens that opportunity for
you wrote it so fucking good. It was so compelling.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
It literally felt like shonen anime.
Oh, really?
Not in a shonen anime. Like, it didn't feel like, I'm Naruto, I'm gonna be best.
Yeah,
but it was like that kind of feeling where it's like,
it's building to something.
Oh, I'm in this for the long run, and there's a lot more going on.
Yeah, there's a lot to be untapped.
There's a lot to be untapped, and I was like, I'm in. in. Let's do the 500 episodes.
And I think I got lost in it for a while. I got lost in myself because I wrote it to where there was so much opportunity. I couldn't figure out where I wanted to take it. As I thought about it years later, I wanted to localize it a little bit more to his immediate family. And say, okay, he is maybe not in name, but somehow in the bloodline related to the Lock.
Very interesting. And why he'd be able to find it.
Exactly. And I wanted to almost make it, I'm trying to think of, I can't think of a movie that's similar, which is a good thing. But I wanted to make it at one point where he goes through one of the doors, and it's just a small door in the mausoleum, kind of like the front door where it's just metal, iron.
Yeah.
But when he goes inside, he actually goes into like a Resident Evil style mansion. And inside the mansion, there is a woman who is being chased by some entity in there. And he like tries to help this woman. And the way I was going at the time was like the woman or the man or the entity chasing her was her father, who was like very abusive and like this, the staunchy lord of this mansion.
Right.
And the woman was like his like great-great-grandmother or something. And they were all spirits. He was helping the dead find peace through and that's where I was kind of going down.
Would like all the doors be like his family?
Not all of them.
Okay.
Because my thought process was at the end when the father was chasing him at the big climax, he would go through the front door again thinking, or like, they beat the bad guy, and then the relative woman sees him off, and he says, okay, I'm going back now. And he goes out through the front door, and he ends up in an entire, he doesn't go back to the mausoleum. He goes back and enters into, kind of like Quantum Leap. He leaps into the next realm or whatever that is.
So he doesn't have control.
He has no control over it. But the thing that I wanted to kind of like connecting back to the real world, and we had talked about this, was because he was going to like try live streaming it because he wanted to be a ghost chaser.
Yes.
His signal was making it back to his YouTube that he was creating.
Correct.
And then when he finally did make it back to the real world, he would have this massive fan base who he had no idea was watching him for all of this time. And he had become what he wanted, was this celebrity ghost chaser thing.
Now, I don't think that's a good ending.
No.
That's a good arc.
Yeah, Right.
Because now you're introducing like all these other problems to it. I want to see all those problems, man. So like, don't end it there, because that's just like, now we're in the beginning. Let's make a fucking worm.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You ended the world. Fuck it. That was chapter 3 of 33. Let's keep going.
But I had fun. I got lost in it for a while, and I want to go back to it. As I'm working on myself and all this, and working towards completion, and getting better at things. Like, I want to go. I have good ideas. They're dark ideas. A lot of my ideas are fucking dark, but
it stems from what we like.
Exactly,
or at least what we liked.
What we used to like.
I'm not a huge horror fan anymore.
I agree.
Like, I can't really watch a lot of horror.
New horror. Nostalgic horror.
To me, it's nostalgic. So the nostalgic horror is near and dear to my heart because it reminds me of my childhood.
Right.
Which reminds me of being in a video store. Which reminds me of a video game.
Yay! We did it! 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon!
So, let's briefly talk about when you sent me this video game trailer. We kind of both immediately checked out.
Yes.
We were like, cool. Wouldn't it be cool to do a video store simulator?
And because it's there are simulator games for fucking everything.
I played the Goose Simulator. It's fucking great.
Dude.
Goat Simulator? A lot of fun.
Power Wash Simulator?
Did not play that. It sounds great.
It's fun. You just clean things. It's amazing.
Oh, you told me about this.
I have sunk hundreds of hours
in
Power Wash Simulator.
No way.
Yes, it's so fun. And Gas station simulator.
I have a lawn mowing simulator that I spent.
I love lawn mowing simulator.
Too much money.
I love lawn mowing.
Not money. Sorry.
No
money.
Time.
A lot of time.
Lawn mowing simulators are the best because they're so satisfying.
It's so satisfying.
And that's what I want the video store. They have all these weird professions for simulators. Why not the mundane? Hey, it's a video store. It's a forgotten art. I'm sure there are people that are curious about how did a video store work? What did it mean?
Or the thousands of us who actually did.
Yes. And I think at the time, it was a struggle when we were there, right? We did it out of necessity.
But we there's a reason we did that and not serve food.
Yes. Oh, hands down. And because we knew what we liked. And plus, free movies.
Duh.
So it's a no-brainer.
Oh my God. We were next door to a pizza place and a something bone fish place. I forget.
Oh yeah, Bonefish Grill?
Bonefish Grill. Thank you. A bonefish place.
You led me there.
Thank you. But the waitstaff would always come in because we were open till midnight.
Yep.
And the waitstaff would come in and they'd be like, if we bring you guys some Bang Bang shrimp, can we get some free movies? I was like, bring all the Bang Bang shrimp.
Bang Bang
you can
shrimp,
have as
yes.
many movies as you want.
That's exact. I
lived off that shit.
Mine was similar, but different. Bang Bang shrimp, as you should live off. That shit's amazing.
It was like $30 a fucking pop.
I know.
Ugh. Anyway,
I was next to, and this was in Michigan. They've got a chain of restaurants called Coney Island, which coincidentally
you told me about this. Yeah.
They don't serve chili.
Really? Isn't that like?
It's called in Indiana. We called it Coney sauce.
Yeah.
Chili on a hot dog.
Yeah.
It's a Coney dog.
Right.
So when someone said Coney Island, I said, "Oh, I don't feel like chili," and they looked at me like I was from Mars. And they're like, "It's a Greek diner." I was like, "Oh, well, that doesn't make sense to me." But I befriended the workers that were like you, and I would trade food
movies.
for movies.
Yeah.
No one knew. It was all under the table.
Yeah.
No one fucking cared.
Right.
To bring it back tomorrow. I'm opening.
Exactly.
And it worked out great. But the draw of the video store was fuck the upselling, fuck all that stuff.
Oh my God, we could do a whole episode about this.
It was connecting with people about movies and finding the people that had the bullshit meter that were your regulars. That's at least what I liked.
I like the regulars.
And
I miss them.
I do too. I had one guy that, and I think he, and this is not, I'm not saying this in any mean light.
Yeah.
He was gay, and I think he was very attracted to me.
Yeah.
And he showed me Azumi. He showed me The Blind Dead. He showed me so many, and he would just rip them and give them to me. He was like my best friend that would come in. I would get so excited because we talk movies for hours. And if he thought I was cute and he gave me movies because of that, fuck yeah, I would use that like a girl uses her looks to get beer.
Well, but I mean, you're also connecting with another human being who likes the same thing.
Right. It's a shared interest.
It's a shared interest. Right.
And that type of stuff, walking the floors, like we would do, I don't know if, did your Hollywood Video, would you pop popcorn on Fridays?
No, we didn't have popcorn.
So every Friday, we would pop popcorn.
Interesting.
And I would always volunteer to be the guy to pass out the popcorn to the people looking for movies. And it was my favorite.
No shit.
Because we just have like little cups.
Yeah,
and I'd have a little tray. Like, like people used to do cigarettes in.
I've never heard of this at Hollywood.
Okay, maybe it was after your time. Maybe it was just my store.
I was there right before the collapse.
Okay, so was I.
Because I got fun stories about that. Where I just became manager because everyone else just fucking walked.
I think 07, I think is when I left.
Mine was 08.
Okay.
Yeah, it was okay. I was there for 07 and 08 because we moved back to Chicago in 08.
Okay, so I was at Hollywood from 04.
We got the paperwork. Like, when it came in about chapter 11.
Oh, you were there to the very end.
We got the paperwork, and we're like,
fuck.
Not my problem.
I would have wrote it to the end had I not had a customer get me a job.
Oh, I mean, that's fucking awesome.
He was dope. He started my life. Like,
shit.
seriously. He was the raddest guy.
What a nice story.
And it was not the dude that would give me movies.
Hey.
It was another regular that he liked movies. He was an MVP guy. And he would come in, and I would just be like, "What's up, man? What are you looking for today?" He's like, I'm not feeling good. I want something melancholy." I'm like, "Got you, bro."
Love that.
It was just awesome.
That's a good way to ask for a movie.
Oh, yeah, because you have emotions. Sometimes you feel sad, you want to watch sad shit, so you feel more sad.
Yup.
And even if it's just one movie.
Anyway.
I would give the popcorn.
Job. Yeah.
I would give the popcorn out to people, and I would walk the floor, and families or, couples or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd just be like, you guys want popcorn? They'd be like, no, we're good. It's like, you look a little like you're a little lost here. How can I help you? And they were like, well, okay. We're torn between two movies to watch tonight. We just started dating. I like this, they like that.
Interesting.
And I'd be like, all right. It was kind of like being a counselor.
You're fucking right, it was.
It was great because you'd find the movie to match the mood. What are you guys looking to do tonight? Well, don't give me the details. What are you looking at? Like, what are we looking for tonight? And then I'd be like, oh, you're in the wrong section. Or they'd be like, well, we like this because we heard it was like that. And I'd be like, no. That was the most fun to me.
Yeah. Mine was, it was the regulars and people who would ask me, like, legitimately ask my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I had this one guy, so much so, like, he would come in and, like, if I wasn't there, he would just grab something and leave. And then he'd bitch to me the next time I came in. He's like, you weren't here. I watched this piece of shit. What the hell? And this was the time of period in my life when I was really into, like, highbrow, artsy films, things like that.
Sure.
And this guy was in his 70s. And he, looking back on it now, I think he was alone. I think he might have been like a widower or something.
Sure.
And he was just like chewing time.
Yeah.
But he'd come in and he's like, I haven't seen a good movie in a long time. So I'm like, come on, let's go on a hunt. And like we would bond over this. And he's like, well, he'd always complain. He's like, well, you haven't seen the movies that I actually like. I'm like, name something you like.
Yeah.
And he'd go off on a rabbit hole of like the 30s films. And I'm like, fucker, I have those movies. I love them.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Night of the Hunter? And he's like, I've never heard of that. Like, brother, come here. And I give him Night of the Hunter. And he came back the next day. He's like, what else do you got?
Yeah.
And I would just give him shit. And I started like upping the ante. I'm like, here's something from the 50s. Here's a little weirder shit from the 60s.
I love it.
Let's get in the indie shit from the 70s.
Yep.
And he's like, I had no idea that this stuff was out there. And like we would just come in and just shoot the shit for like an hour.
That was the best. I do miss that connection with people.
Yeah,
like
me too.
with random people.
Random people.
And it's like you made friends. And it's weird to call them friends because they were only there because you had movies and I was only there because I was getting paid.
Right.
But we were friends. Like we bonded over that stuff.
Yeah.
And I had a guy that would come into my College Town store. His name was Craig. And he always smoked clove cigarettes. And he was an Alien fanatic. And
the movie or like all Alien films?
The movie, the quadrology at the time.
Yeah, fair enough.
He loved Alien. So he would always come and be like, you've seen Alien, right? I'd be like, yeah, I've seen Alien. He'd be like, all right, take me somewhere. And I'd be like, okay, so you want sci-fi horror? And he's like, well, I mean, I like Alien. It's like, all right.
Okay.
Some people were hard like that.
That's a challenge because if you're that hardcore into something, it's very hard to satisfy.
Especially Alien. Like, I get Alien. I get Aliens. I do not get Alien 3 and 4.
Well...
Alien 3...
Fincher wanted to do something.
I know, you're
right. And apparently the director cut is really good. I've never seen it.
I don't care.
Is it available?
I thought it was. I thought it was part of the quadrology
Is
set.
it? Because it's like an extra 40 minutes from what I've read, or 30 minutes.
I mean, Fincher... People that don't know David Fincher don't understand how fucking amazing this dude is. Like... And if you don't know names, you'll know movies. He did Seven. He did Fight Club.
Social Network.
Social Network. Yeah. He's kind of like, I would put him, David Fincher's directing ability, on par with like a Christopher Nolan.
Oh, agreed. 100%.
I'd say they're
like
they're like meta directors.
I would agree. Yeah.
But David Fincher, like, Alien was just so out of his wheelhouse. He wanted to do an art house film in space, and they knew it wouldn't work. But it would.
Apparently, it was fucking great. And if anyone out there, all three people who are listening to this, if you can point me in the direction of this, because literally what happens is I get on this rampage and I really want to see this movie.
And I forget.
And literally I go to the bathroom and I flush it out of my head.
Yep. And then sometimes I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to do it. And then I sit down and I start the credits. I go, I'm not feeling it today.
Yeah.
Fincher he did some amazing stuff. I mean, okay, let me ask you this question. At the Hollywood video you were at, what was the movie you would recommend to fuck with people?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so I had a guy who would call me on my bullshit every night.
Okay.
You and I literally had the exact same story happen to us with Pan's Labyrinth.
I was thinking of that.
Not the movie I used to call people on their bullshit, but that was a fun story. Anyway, I don't know.
Should we give them a taste of it before?
I mean, please, literally, we had the same fucking story happen to each other. Guy comes in wanting a good movie. I point him to what was it? Oh, Apocalyptico.
Yep.
And he goes, no, this is stupid. You know, like it's directed by Mel Gibson. He's a real American. I want an American movie. I'm like, okay, first off, that fucker's Australian. And the whole movie is in Mesopotamia.
Yeah, Mayan or whatever. Yeah.
And he's pissed at that. So then I go, okay, dude, you gotta see Letters from Iwo Jima, because Flags of Our Fathers and Iwo Jima came out at the same time. Flags of Our Fathers is a giant turd.
Yeah.
Letters from Iwo Jima is a fucking gold mine of good.
And sorry to interrupt, but weren't they both directed by Clint Eastwood?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they came out at the same time.
Yes.
Like the same day. And they're just opposite sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. So, and I told him, it's okay, it's by Clint Eastwood. And he's like, oh, that's a real American right there. So, like, you know, he rents that, and then he comes
rolling
back,
my eyes.
Fucking like, this is bullshit. It was in Jap. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, fuck you. And then he goes, like, I want a real good movie. Give me a good movie. And I go, okay, you got to watch Pan's Labyrinth. And he brings it up. He goes, is this subtitled? And I was so fucking done with him. I'm like, no. And the guy next to me calls me on my shit. He goes, yes, it is. It's a Spanish film. And I was like, this guy's an asshole. Let him fucking rot. Anyway, yeah. So you had the exact same thing with Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, same thing. People didn't want to watch, because my version of it was a guy came in. He says, I really like that Hellboy movie. And I said, oh, okay. Well, we got the director's newest movie, Pan's Labyrinth.
A far superior film.
Oh God, yeah. And he was like, oh, it's by the guy that did Hellboy? I'm like, absolutely.
And then Nola?
Yeah, right. 2 days later, guy comes back and goes, this is bullshit. It was subtitled. I don't need to read no damn movies. If I wanted to, I'd read a book.
Oh my
You're
God.
not reading those either, sir. So, I mean, you know, like... But yeah, it's so... People genuinely hate it. They genuinely hate subtitles. People hate subtitles like people hate laugh tracks.
Well, okay.
And I'm not digging on people that don't like laugh tracks. I get it.
I'm on that path.
I get it.
Laugh tracks I can't do.
I get it.
But I will say, subtitled movies, I don't fucking get why people are so upset about them, because, you know, you and I fucking love foreign films.
Absolutely.
But the first time you give a good subtitled movie to someone and they actually just go, fuck it, I'll watch it.
Fine.
And you see their eyes the next time you see them, they're like, I had no idea that movies could be this different and so impactful.
Absolutely. Did you have one you would recommend?
Oh my God, 100 times over. I had two. Kikujiru, which is written and directed by Beat Takahashi. Fucking amazing film. And then Europa. Which was an 80s German
That was a
movie?
great movie.
Holy shit. Talk about fucking feels and stress. And it's a Jewish kid who runs away from the Nazis during Nazi occupation in Germany. And he joins the Nazi youth until, like, for long enough. But he's terrified the whole time he's in there. And then he's found out in the shower because he's circumcised. So they try and kill him. So he runs away to another country where, like, he's trying to hide under someone else's. Yes. And then the Nazis come there and he's like, I don't know what the fuck to do. It was so emotionally raw.
Dude, that movie was...
That, like, the boy with the striped pajamas.
Yep,
was
that was the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I always liked... Depending on the people, I had two... and I'm going to butcher his name. Two Jean-Pierre Jeunet films.
Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
Jeunet, thank you. if they were a younger crowd or maybe college age,
Amelie?
Smoking cigarettes, I would give them City of Lost Children.
Oh, nice!
Because that movie's fucking phenomenal. That's
it's so good. And I don't know why I always forget that one.
It's because it's ethereal. The color scheme, it's like smoky and green, and it's kind of like...
Green's a big...
Did I dream that? Is it real? Ron Perlman speaking French, but what's going on here? But Amelie is my other one. Yeah. Amelie is for the people that want to dip their toe in the water, but they don't know where to start. And
that's good.
Amelie I saw that, I was in tears when I saw that in the theaters.
Oh my God, me too.
It's probably one of the most beautiful, most happy, joyous films.
Concurred.
I haven't watched it in years, and it's because it's so special.
Yeah.
But those are my two foreign films that I would always recommend those.
For anyone out there who has not seen these movies, stop the fucking podcast, go watch those movies.
Yes.
I have never seen a Jean-Pierre Jeunet film that I didn't like.
Agreed.
Delicatessen was amazing.
Oh, I forgot about Delicatessen. I love Delicatessen. It's so dark.
Micmacs.
Which
is hands down the most childish of his films.
Yes, but it's wonderful.
But I loved it. And then he came out with a new one last year.
What?
Yeah. It just popped up on Netflix, and we're like, what's this? And then I saw it directed by... I was like, fuck everything, we're watching this tonight. And it's really outside of everything else he's done until you get halfway into it and you're like, oh, okay, everything's going weird. This is wonderful.
There it is.
But it's very fun. Yeah.
I'll have to check that one out.
Very low key compared. Like they made it during COVID.
Okay, so it is super chill.
So they had like a location. They had like 8 actors. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm down with that. Like
it was good. It was fun.
Because that was the thing. Like you'd find simple movies based on, you would judge people, you size people up.
Yeah.
And that's why, and I know I'll bring you back to the Shire. We went to Mordor. I'll bring you back to the Shire. Your fuck around film.
I wanted to get back to this. What is your fuck around film?
What was yours?
I didn't have like off the top of my head. I didn't know. Okay. It highly depended on the genre and the person.
I get that. If people would give me too vague of a request or what I felt was too douchey of a request.
Okay.
And by too douchey, I'll give you the perfect example.
Okay.
Guy comes in the store. I need a movie. Okay. What do you want? Do you have something in mind? Well, I'm an entrepreneur.
Wait, so, what?
Yeah, this was his response to me. I'm an entrepreneur.
You smell like Play-Doh.
So I need something inspiring. I said, well...
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
I said, sure.
Rudy, go home.
I go, do you have time? And he said...
Interested?
Well, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. I have no job.
Means I'm jobless.
So I gave him Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. And I said, if this isn't inspiring to you, I don't know what is.
Yeah, right.
I had... Other people would come in. If people came in and I didn't like their douchey, how they phrased the request, or they just looked like people that were like, sports, basketball, football, I like sport things.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. And they were like,
get the fuck out.
Every time. And they would watch it. And the
worst part of this is you're giving them a great film.
That was my thing, though. I didn't always give them bad movies. I gave them good movies because I'm like, you need fucking culture. You need to grow your mind. Open your mind.
Oh,
I'd be their Quado.
Yeah, I was trying to remember the name. I couldn't get it in time.
And Quado was actually puppeteered by... No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's married to the caterer?
Knowing the 80s, it was probably Frank Oz. So, I mean, he fucking did everything.
Paul Verhoeven directed Total Recall.
Yes, he did.
I'm trying to think like who he was connected with.
Your easiest jump would be Peter Weller.
Well, I mean, obviously from RoboCop, but like they had some pretty good robotic puppeteering on RoboCop 2.
Yeah, they did.
Not RoboCop 2. No. RoboCop as well. Well, I mean, RoboCop 2. 2 gets a bad rap. It's not a great movie.
No, but it's fun.
Did you ever fucking see the... Frank Miller wrote RoboCop. Like
the first one?
He wrote the treatment for it.
Okay.
And then he got penned to write part 2.
Really? I didn't know this.
I watched a YouTube, like, behind the scenes, like this is what really happened.
Yeah.
He wrote the story. Apparently it was supposed to be fucking awesome because they went through his story and I don't remember it, but I just remember sitting there going, why the fuck wasn't that movie made? It was so good. And all the producers at Canon were like, we can't release this movie because no one's gonna understand it.
That's
like, shut the fuck up, because you didn't understand the first one then.
Right.
The first one is goddamn beautiful. It had nothing to do with the murder and shit and action.
And it was prophetic.
Yes.
I mean, it was
Starship Troopers Jr.
Yes.
But amped up. You know, it's like, oh my god, RoboCop is so fucking good.
Set in a city that's going through the exact things
with
crime that RoboCop predicted. Like it, I love RoboCop.
Me too. It's one of my favorite films.
Not the remake.
Oh, I always forget that there was a remake.
Oh, it's terrible. Because you can't. Lightning doesn't strike twice, especially on something as unique of an idea as that. RoboCop 2 was like, oh, that was fun.
And by the way, it was pieced together at the last second.
Yeah.
That's why it felt so fucking hacky.
And Frank Miller's a weird guy.
He is a weird guy.
Frank Miller.
But he gave us Sin City.
He did. And I love him for that. I also kind of hate him for some other shit that he's given us.
What has he given us that's not good?
He directed the film The Spirit because of Sin City, and he thought, well, Rodriguez can do it.
No,
I can do that.
I forgot about that.
That movie was horrible.
Yeah.
He also wrote the comic for 300, which Zack Snyder directed, and it was beautiful.
Movie was better than the comic.
Fuck yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Frank. If you go back, okay, he invented Elektra in the Daredevil comics.
Right.
He created the character Elektra.
Correct.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and read some of that shit, it's not good.
No, it's not.
I mean, his artistic skills for Sin City, the fact that they cast people as attractive as they did, because his drawing is abysmal.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not a good artist.
He's gotten really lucky. And I'm not dogging on Frank Miller. It's just, that's my understanding. I like some of his stuff. I hate most of his stuff. I've read a lot of Daredevil stuff.
Okay.
You know who I think is one of the best Daredevil writers?
Kevin Smith?
Chip Zdarsky.
Chip Zdarsky?
Yeah.
What arc did he do? That name is crazy familiar.
Just recently, he did... it was like within the last year and a half. Yeah.
Oh my god, so I am literally collecting them right now. I have not read through them yet.
Oh, dude. They're... I won't spoil anything for you.
Okay.
But...
That's where I see the name.
Long story.
Okay.
And he's writing he's such a huge writer right now. And I haven't followed very closely for about a year now. But when I was reading his stuff, he was wrapping up a Daredevil series where Daredevil was dead. No, Matt Murdock was dead.
Yeah, right.
Daredevil's in jail, but there's a Matt Murdock double out there running around.
Yes, I did not read it, but I am aware of that storyline. Yeah.
And this Matt Murdock person who's staging as Matt Murdock is dating, he's gay, and he's dating, his boyfriend is the son of Kingpin.
Oh, I love that.
Kingpin is married to Typhoid Mary, who's insane.
Yeah, she was in Deadpool for a long time.
Yeah. And then Elektra comes back and takes up the mantle of Daredevil as a woman and kicks fucking ass.
That's where I started collecting them.
And there was a point in time where Daredevil had wiped Wilson Fisk's memory of him, and Wilson Fisk's he knew who Daredevil was, but he couldn't remember why he didn't remember, and so his whole motivation was to find out who Daredevil was.
Oh, that sounds so One More Day-ish,
dude. And he brought the Purple Man in. It was great.
Like, oh really?
Yeah, it was
okay.
He Wilson Fisk was winning elections because the Purple Man was fucking putting powerful thoughts out over New York City.
Right.
It was like reading it, it's like, this is fucking brilliant. Like, how did I ever not like Daredevil at one point in time?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's street level, and it's very easy to forget about the street level, but that's where my love is. I don't like the street level. I like the people staying at home.
You like the guy in the chair.
I like Gwenpool.
Yeah.
I like Gabby.
Oh, Gabby.
Dude, I am shocked Honey Badger doesn't have her own series.
Dude, she's amazing. I just don't think Marvel understands what to do with her. Or maybe they just don't think that she has a market. But with And we
I actually tweeted them quite a few times. I'm like, bring Gabby back.
Yeah, dude.
Don't give a shit. But
I want to go back and buy that Wolverine omnibus.
Oh, it's fucking great.
Just so I can have them.
That X-23 stories?
Yeah.
I like... Actually, it was Wolverine. It was like the all-new Wolverine.
All-new Wolverine, yeah. I like Laura Kinney.
I do, too.
I think she's awesome. She's deep. She's got depth. It's more than snickety.
Agreed. Speaking of which,
what were we talking about?
Yeah. So we worked at a movie store.
There's this video game that we want to do. It's a simulation game based on another game.
Pitch me your idea of a sim game.
Okay, I can do that.
And then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, this is the longest hour-long podcast anybody's ever had.
I was going to say, I keep looking over. I think we're at 6. I think we're at 6 hours. I think today is February again.
Fantastic. And we've only had one Dr. Pepper.
I know. I'm actually shocked I have not gotten up to get more. I feel like I'm a loser. So pitch me your idea of a video store simulator.
What we talked about was we want to have a video store simulator where we each run our own video store. And truthfully, like I want to build it from, I want to name it.
Yes.
I want to choose the type of movie. I want to choose.
The lighting.
Am I a boutique video store?
Yes.
Am I a blockbuster video store?
Yeah.
What clientele am I going to cater to? I want to stock the shelves. Like I want to receive order. I want to order stuff. I want to receive them. I want to stock the shelf. I want to re-alphabetize everything.
Yes. Recategorize.
Oh yeah.
By subgenre.
Yes.
Women in prison film. Sorry, I'm going to.
No, absolutely. Like I want, and that's the thing. Like that would, to me, that would be a boutique store.
Correct.
Because you are very finite in this is a very specific. These are blaxploitation films. These are erotic thrillers or whatever.
Jesus Christ, this is what I want. So
like I want to control that, and I want to cater to those clientele, and I want people to come in and go, oh. And leave.
Yes, I want...
I want to turn customers away in the game. But at the same time, I also want the ability... I don't want it to be a multiplayer game in any way, shape, or form. With the one exception...
That you can visit your friend's store.
I want to visit my friend's store.
Yes!
And I want to be able to have access to your inventory. And if a customer comes in and says, I'm looking for X, and I know I don't have X, I can look up your store and I can say, you know what? This store has it, and I can... If I call you, I have a mic, and I actually leave you a physical message.
Oh my God!
And I'm like, hey dude, it's Andrew from X Video Store, and I've got a customer here looking for Y movie, which I see you've got a copy of. I'm going to send them your way. Have a good one.
Oh,
and then it's like an answering machine. You check your messages, and when you check the message, then the person's there like, hey, I'm here to pick up my movie.
That's so badass. I love that idea.
Like, and that's it. Like, I want it to
that's
not
the
be...
game.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You manage a video store. And I don't want to make it big. Like, and if you grow your video store big enough, you can franchise it.
No.
I don't want any of that. I want to be a mom and pop video store that just and if you want horror, the game auto generates horror movies that come out. And
would you want it to be real movies, like movies that actually exist, or would you want them to be like stock movies, like just to fill the shelves? Like, oh, you want blaxploitation? Here's 10 fake blaxploitation films.
I want a mix of both, but I want the fake ones to be generated by AI.
Yeah, I mean,
I want AI story blurbs that you can really read, and I want AI
full box art and everything else.
Yes, I want cover. I don't want just like, hey, it's it's squiggledy exploitation film. Like
squiggledy.
I want to be like, oh, this is called directed by ChatGPT or whatever.
Black to the Future.
Yeah, and then on the back it's like Marty McFly once ate a fly, and like I want it to be like AI generated, so it's really random.
See, okay, now the irony of this right now is that granted with my job, I'm dealing with a lot of AI technology.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
And it's like it's getting so good. Like, remember like 3 years ago when we'd read these like AI generated scripts?
Yes.
Like, this is fucking terrible. This is funny. AI sucks. Ha 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 ha. And now it's like, oh God, they took our jobs. They're gonna take my job.
There's a huge problem in the artist industry right now. And I know
we'll see.
Well, I know that several comic book companies have said no AI art. We will only hire live artists.
Well, yeah, duh.
As it should be. But they are getting overwhelming submissions.
Oh, you're
for
kidding.
people who are writing their own book and then getting really good at AI art generation, and they're having AI draw the panels of their book.
Yeah, writing good prompts is a fucking skill all in itself,
dude.
But
some of these AI artworks, like I see on TikTok, it's like, what if they made He-Man, and it's like, holy.
But you make this one thing.
Yeah.
That's all well and good.
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, I can do that all day. Like,
right.
I subscribe to Midjourney. I pay my monthly fee and blah, blah, and I make shit for work. But what floors me is if you could do a comic book like that with the same exact character doing exactly what you want them to do in each panel. That's fucking impossible, man, because it's still random.
Yeah, it's still...
You can't do that.
I love it from an experimental standpoint.
It's beautiful. I love it as like a springboard for ideas.
Yeah, it's beautiful chaos.
It is.
Like, it's just such a fun idea. And it kind of makes me... You saying that, like, having the consistency. So there's a comic book, or was, I guess I should say. I don't know if he's allowed to do art anymore in the comic industry, but his name was Greg Land.
Not familiar.
So he did some Marvel books, but I don't know if you remember that this is kind of a deeper cut to like early aught comic books. There was a comic company called CrossGen.
Of course, yeah.
And they did a couple series, but my favorite series that they did was called Sojourn. And
I'm not familiar with that.
I've got the full run. It's amazing, I think.
Yeah.
It's a 33-issue run, and it's got a woman as the main protagonist, and there is a Sauron-like bad guy.
Okay.
And it's a fantasy setting, and she's trying to stop the Sauron guy. That's what I remember. There's dragons. There's all kinds of shit. Greg Land was the artist on that, and when I was reading it when it was coming out, I was this is gorgeous artwork.
Okay.
Oh my God. Come to find out, he was tracing over Google Images for years.
No.
And if you look up Greg Land artwork, you will find comparisons side by side of the stock art and the panel from like a Spider-Man book. And it's like a woman like shielding her eyes, and it's legitimately traced over stock images.
I don't mind getting like ideas and concepts from other books, but don't fucking...
He came under such fire, and I was so bummed because I loved his art, and I'm like, I am a fool. But I still have such fond memories because the story was so fun.
That's what matters when all's said and done.
Yeah. But we could just talk for hours and just go tangent to tangent. Like, if we never needed sleep, we could never stop talking.
We would make our own version of, what's it called? That Twitch channel that's been on for like...
Oh, the Lo-Fi Girl?
No, there's a Twitch channel that is... It's been on for like 3 months straight. And it's...
The Seinfeld.
Yes, the AI written, acted, directed, shot, everything. It's like Nothing Forever.
Okay.
It's called Nothing Forever. And I've watched parts of it. It doesn't make sense. It's mindless.
Yeah.
But it came under fire because, like, the N-word dropped and a bunch of...
Oh.
Yeah, a bunch of other shit dropped in there.
Ooh.
But it's like, it's random.
Yeah, you can't control it. That's the risk.
That is the fucking art.
Yeah.
Yes, it's horrible, but that's us. It's not creating it. It's mimicking humanity.
Right. And humanity's awful.
Goddamn right we are.
I don't understand Twitch in a couple of different ways.
Done. End of statement.
But like, and we don't need to go on much longer, but this is just something that I'm curious about, because Twitch is this phenomenon that I don't think anybody could have predicted it would have been this big. And not only just from the video game standpoint. Like, I don't watch it for video game stuff.
Either. I watch it for you. I mean,
and it's.
I watch it for a person I like.
Yeah, and a person I know. Like, I remember you guys did it once or twice, and I loved it. Yeah. And Chris has done it a couple times, and I've watched it, and it's fun. Andrea did it, and I would watch it until I lose interest in the game. But like the interactions with people are great.
That's what I'm interested in.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
But what I don't get, it's like it's a jump to go from like. You would think that I would like Twitch with how I used to game growing up. So
right.
Gaming growing up, everything was couch co-op, or it was single player, and you would show up at your friend's house, and it was their console, so you just played Navigator.
But you still got to play together, and like to me, it's about the experience. Yeah.
And I love playing Navigator because it's all reward. There is no risk. I don't fuck up and die. I don't make mistakes. I get to help solve puzzles.
And I can go take a dump.
Yeah.
When I want to.
Yeah. Exactly. And so you would think, well, I would really like something like Twitch.
Yeah.
But I don't. From a video game standpoint. But then it's evolved. Like, people don't just do video games on Twitch anymore. People have found, I can monetize this, and now you can be sit in a hot tub all day with a bikini, and...
Yeah, I don't like that side of it.
So it's like, that's okay, but then this AI stuff where it's totally random and no one can control it.
Right.
People can control their actions if they're doing sexy stuff or whatever, and there's no age restrictions or like...
Is there not on Twitch?
No.
That's interesting.
And it's like, that is...
You can't have nudity on Twitch, can you?
You can't, but there's so many people streaming it at one time.
It's hard to regulate.
It's hard to control and regulate.
Okay.
But then like this Chat GP thing or this the Nothing Forever.
Nothing Forever, right.
That comes under fire when literally it's writing itself and mimicking humans. There's no control over it. There's no malice. There's no even thought in it.
But that's
But yet other people are allowed to do what could be considered to some way worse things.
OnlyFans? I have no problem with porn.
No,
I have no problem with fucking OnlyFans.
If that's what you want to do, do it.
Fucking A.
Like...
But why is that not more like on Twitch?
Right.
These big titted, fucking people. These big titted. Dude, if there's a big titted dude out there making money, fucking A.
Welcome to my Twitch.
Dude pride. During COVID, I was really fucking close to doing an OnlyFans.
Sure.
And typically when I do anything art related, I do it to fuck with people.
Sure.
I did reaction videos to fuck with people. I do short commercials to fuck with people. Anyway, but Jesus, I wanted to do an OnlyFans so bad and have zero sexual content. And then never allude to it, never evolve into it or hint I'm going to do it, but just sit there and eat shit.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say a fucking word.
I love that idea. I love the idea of creating something on a platform that people are using for pretty much one specific reason.
Correct.
And you're just like, hey, I have this OnlyFans. And then it's like you going to the library.
Yep.
Or it's just you doing like posting things that you would post on Facebook for free. But you're like, does he not get what this is for? You would get subs for that.
Or do you?
Right.
Because then you fall into the whole Tim and Eric shit. It's like, are they fucking with me or are they dumb?
And their brand of humor, it's hilariously off-putting, and it's the same, but I love it. Like, have you seen the new Little Caesars stuff? Like,
no.
So Eric Wareheim is the new like spokesperson for Little Caesars.
Oh, perfect.
And he has done 3 or 4 commercials, and they're Eric Wareheim commercials.
Oh.
They're him doing the character. Hi, I'm Little Caesar, and I'm gonna come out. And then he's got like a little like dancing pepperoni, and it's that like shitty quality 90s VHS like.
Yes.
It's his brand of humor. Just like Tim Heidecker is Pitzman's mustard.
Yes.
Always
yes.
and forever is Pitzman's mustard. Eric Wareheim is truly the mind behind Tim and Eric of this style. That VHS, avid tape to tape. That is Eric Wareheim for sure. I'll just show you because they're fucking brilliant. But that's all he does.
Right.
And every time he does it, you think, oh, it's the same old shit. But it's brilliant.
Yes.
Because it's the same shit, but it's evolving to the scenario.
Right.
It's like South Park. The guys that did South Park. It's the same shit.
I'm going back through South Park right now, and I think I'm going to end this here. But that show...
I forgot we were going to... It's a Midwest goodbye.
It is the Midwest goodbye. That show never ceases to amaze me.
Oh, God.
By how much... A, they're not canceled yet, but B, how they stay so good.
It's amazing.
And I will say, I'm on season 9 right now. Shocked at some of the words they use.
Dude.
Not fuck, not cunt, not anything like that, but just the words they drop, that make me go, it's only been 10 years, but feeling a little awkward.
A lot has changed.
Yeah, right.
And I'm glad.
I am too. I thought about the same thing. And I'm glad that we got to be together.
Yay!
Tonight on this podcast. Yay, touchy fingertips. So thank you.
Thank you, dude.
Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. Oh, we're going to do more.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, unless I gotta go back and rework at a video store again.
Even though that's just more time to do this.
That's true. I'll be an entrepreneur.
Yes, and we'll watch the Lord of the Rings Extended Edition.
You'll make me watch it.
Well, I mean, make is a strong.
That and TerraVision, and I'll be good to go. Call back! Okay, I want to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm with you.